Hi, also welcome to day 6 of this performance testing with JMeter, right? With all other topics that are displayed. So, yesterday we were talking about client side and server side. We'll proceed ahead. And now let us talk about architectures and design, okay, application architecture and design. So, before that, there was one query last yesterday in the last. We'll see that. So was asking like how to identify the request. So I think I have told this many times. It's very simple. Nothing with that. You go to network tab, right? And if you have problem, whenever we do anything, like let us say I'll launch Amazon.com again. So first of all, by looking at the type, uh, if you are getting what to say stressed because of the stuff that is going on here, so no need to worry about the. I've told this repeatedly because all these are embedded resources. If you see by looking only at the type, correct, image. So till bottom, uh, if you scroll down, all are those things only. So why we have to bother about them, right? Why to worry about them? Nothing to worry. Let them as it is. Now coming to the request on which we should focus on, right? So you will observe them. Uh, it will be shown as initiator document and HTML type. Type is HTML because the requests are of HTTP HTML request. Even in my PPT also I've written that all requests are of HTTP HTML. Okay, and then you can click on them also. You can click and verify the URL as well. Correct. Let us say this is the request, and it will be bringing the response which comes in code form. Right. See, or actually this one also, which is rendered. It shows as a rendered one. This one. But in some browser it doesn't load like that, so it's bringing the response, right? So what I have told that all those requests related to a transaction, you are doing a transaction. A user action is what? A user action is a transaction. So whenever you are doing a transaction in the network tab, if you see one request or sometime multiple set of requests getting fired, and you see response coming for them, right? Valid response should come for them, the expected response. You have to just consider them. Okay, and this request means the type called document and HTTP HTML, not this embedded resources. On every page these will be there. So why so hard in what is tough here? Don't think after explaining so much there is anything. Even though again uh, one more option is there. If you want to not look into this and just want to look into the main request. So here you see selectors are there options. So you only select on HTML and XHR. Okay, these two tabs. Other are if you observe they are all CSS, JavaScript fonts, images, medias, WS, right? So by default it will be clicked on all. When you click on all, everything will be shown. So it can be confusing. So you can do what you can just click on HTML and XHR. Yeah, XHR. So if you do click on both of them, these two are selected. So most of the thing gets filtered out. Okay. Now it's filtered out. It's not so many. Okay. And that too. First let me click on HTML. So it's showing this image. But again, you see these are our image, right? Whatever it is showing by type. Sometime in the type for image it will show as HTML. But initiator, if you see, all are image only. and then right. So and one JS. So only two important you have to consider. Okay. So after clicking on this, these two, see, almost all got filtered out. Only these are left. Now in this also, what it is displaying are JavaScript files, all JS and HTML file and images are there. So no need to worry again. We have to ignore them by looking only at type and initiator. It's these are it's JS files or JS file or images, right? Whatever it's filtered. So what we are getting our request here. Plus, the request, whenever you can verify, it's not like that. You can just verify on the request and check that the request should have related URL, right? And a response should be there. Right? So let us say we will do one more. Suppose um, I'm checking for now these two. Suppose anywhere I'll click anywhere. Let us click. So I clicked on the one option. Again, if you see, these so many things are there. And if you just scroll up, whenever you load this scroller, it automatically goes down. So you have to just scroll up, and you can see type initiator listing. Sometimes there can be two or more also. So we have to check them. So again, if you are feeling this all confusing, same before I filter out. So you see, this is the we are observing this as the request. So you can just click on that, right? And this header tab. So if you click on that, you will check the URL. This URL will be matching little bit with this URL which is there, right? But as a professional, we should not consider this. We consider here, we should look into this. But again, for a beginner, if you are confused, you can match. It will be shown, right? This is same if you observe. So that was the request got generated when I clicked on that icon. And plus one thing, what is that? It should bring the response, the related response, correct? So that is the URL. And even though you want to have more control, then as usual, you can click on HTML and see, sorry, the XHR, only these two things, so that other thing can be avoided, right? So like that, uh, suppose I'll click on this plastic tag. So now, since I've only clicked on HTML and CSS, many things are not, they are loaded. It's not like that they are not loaded. If you click on them, all will be displayed. If you click on all, but for now it's not displaying this because only the thing related to HTML and CSS is displaying. So you will see this stuff little less, right? And again here, when I clicked on this, you see this request. So same way, you can verify. So it's very easy. And I don't think it's very hard. Many even more thing you will observe if you want to check the things like its size will be very high compared to all, because that is the main request, right? Response time will be high for that. You see all these response time are less, but this is 2.56 second. Okay, this request took. So this tells that that is the main request. That is main request, right? So like that. Now
So at the down we have a finish time. Do we need to worry about that? We just need to
nahin, nahin.
consider. No? Okay.
Acha, here also Philip, Mozilla also shows the DOM content load and load. fine. Sometime one request can have one transaction can have two requests. So let us click on add to cart here, and we'll see add to cart or buy now. Buy now. Let us do buy now. So if you see buy now has generated two requests. Okay, so you can see here. This one is one, which 302. I'll be explaining about 302, which are called redirecting request, and then we have here. Okay, we have here. You can see the size also; they are same. Okay, and initiator document it's okay. Type HTML. So if you click on this, sometimes we have to go and check if the things are a little confusing. You can see this kind of URLs, right, related to the transaction you did. Suppose you have clicked on a refrigerator. Somewhere in the URL it will be showing refrigerator. Okay, even the URL is very big, but it will be showing if you look into that. Right? So this is a post request, right? 302. And if you go to the response, we had a response here. And one another request which is here. See here. So this is little big, but this is the main request which is displayed here. You can match by that. This is sign in OpenID map Maxauth is there, right? So two requests. So one transaction sometimes can have two requests. So that also you can identify. Right here it's very simple way it's come. This is redirecting request. Actually, okay. Redirecting request. I'll explain later on. They do not have response. If you see the response for this request and the response for this request, which is the second one, is same. It's same, right? Uh, but if I go to the raw mode with this request, the browser should not show the response. Both are same. Okay. What is redirecting? We'll see later. Do not worry. So we got the idea, right? That transaction can have two requests. So how to identify them also. Again, downside if you see your uh, images and other things, so not required.
But for 302, it's showing post method. It should be get, right? Because it's redirecting from 302 to Amazon.com to the another buy now. So it's showing the method post. It's for post to be get, right?
Why it will go to another? Here also Amazon, and then it is redirecting to this URL, which is also Amazon.
With the post method?
Uh, why we have to worry about that?
Okay.
This is developer work. I told you to
Okay.
worry about no, right?
So no need to test about this stuff like if from post to it because it's going from
No. We
302
have
and
to test. We have to test
okay.
to include them. They are required. Do not have to worry why here post, why here get is there. You are not going to fix that, right? You have to just test that. So do not worry why it's post and everything. They have designed like that. Let it be. Our work is to consider them and test them. Anyway, did I told you to worry about post request, get why this is post, why this? I told you that I told you the types that requests are there, and most of the requests which will carry the payload, they are generally post requests. But we do not have to worry whether it is post, put, delete. You have to just observe and do the things accordingly. They may have designed like that only, that any item you'll be clicking and adding it to buy or add to cart. Maybe that will be going as a post. Fine. So whosoever asked that yesterday, right? Hope now doubt is clear. Correct. Plus, many do not worry also that uh, manually we have to check in the URL. Not required. Whenever you'll be working in JMeter automatically we get these things, right? So that time also you can see in JMeter only. Okay. But why I discuss all those things, because that is basic. That is the real thing that is happening. Everyone should know that. And then same thing is used or simulated in the tools. Now architecture. So uh, applications have some architecture. Now, what is the meaning of application architecture? The design method. So like how we have a house, right? And we have architecture for that. So same way applications have architectures. Now, so in application layer, there are layers in that. Whenever application is designed, developed, and put in the live. So live means when what in the real form, right? That can be. So we have this three layers are in that. One is presentation layer, business logic layer, and data manipulation layer. And there are types of the architecture. So one type, tier two type, three tier, and multi-tier. Multi-tier is an extension of three-tier. Now, first we'll understand the architecture, then we'll talk about layer, because both are combined stuff, interrelated thing. Layer and this. So first is tier one architecture. Tier one architecture used to exist long back when this when this computer world was not that much evolved, right? Very long back in 80s or something. Just a second. So in that when this internet also that thing was not there, right? So in 80s this architecture used to be there. So so in that what happens? All the components of any project means any application used to reside in one setup, okay? In one, generally in one big machine only. So that time this connectivity and all these things were not there. The many things were not evolved. So one small example of this, like whenever we create a project, when we do MCA or engineering, so final semester, like we prepare a project. So we deploy in that our local laptop only, everything related to that display. So, so right, so that is what one time. where everything is there in same machine. All the components related to that application which you have designed. Now we have two tier. Two tier is still there. For example, so there are two layers will be there, front end and database layer. So all mobile apps they are of kind two tier. Okay, I'll also be explaining why this is two tier, what is three tier, and some desktop apps are there. So nowadays the concept of desktop apps is going, it's getting outdated because everything is getting online. Here desktop apps also there. Then we have three tier. So first, three tier is the general one, which is there everywhere. So let us understand three tier. So what is the meaning of tier here? Is tier means the layer. The three separate layers will be there. The layer that we just seen there, the presentation layer, the business logic layer, the data. So the PL layer, the BLL layer, and DML layer, the data manipulation. The presentation layer, it represents the front end of a website. Okay. Any website front end, the look and feel that we see, which is also static. So any example, let us say, suppose yes. So let us say this page is a static page. Static meaning of a static page is it doesn't change depending on the user, right? Any user accessing this will get this page. Okay. Nothing is changing with the static page. And plus this is the front end. Through this only you will be interacting with whatever the things will be there. You will be going to log in, and then after logging in, uh, then you will be going inside and you will be seeing your whatever the accounts details are there, right? So the front part, so which is shown to us, or generally, yeah, which we see of that website, the application. That is presentation layer. Name itself is their presentation, right? So what is presented to the user is that layer, presentation layer. Okay, that is also called as front end. Now, there are some language which are used to design the front end. The language might have heard of this HTML, CSS, JavaScript, very common. And then there are extended version of that JavaScript nowadays. So React, Vue.js, Angular, jQuery, these all are there. These all tools are used to design the front end of any application, right? And the developers who design this who front end part are known as front end developer. You must have heard this also in healthcare. Front end developer, back end developer. Right? So that is what front end developer. Now the server, because everything is kept on server only, right? So the server on which this front end part is kept, the presentation layer is kept. They're called web server. Web servers. Okay, web server. Right. Then comes the business logic layer, BLL layer. It is a complex layer. So whatever the logical stuff that goes on an application, uh, that is uh, that is what the BLL layer does, and we cannot see the BLL layer because that code is in backend. Okay, that is in backend, and this layer is also called as backend. And the user who designs the developers, right? The people who develop this are called backend developers. You might have heard of developers, backend developers. The technologies used for developing the backend are like these are famous one: Python, Java, PHP, and .NET. Correct. These are there. .NET is there. So using this we design the backend. Right? the server on which this bill layer code is kept or bill layer setup is kept are called application server or app server. This is web server. This is application server or app server. Now again I'll explain. So logical. What is this layer? This layer is very understandable, right? But what is this? Because we do not understand, so we do not see also, so it can be confusing. So what is this BLL layer? In meaning of BLL, business logic layer. So business logic, right? Business means the application. Any application design is a kind of business. Somewhat business is going on that. Let us banking app, e-commerce app, right? Food booking app. So business is right. So the logics related to doing that business, right? For that code is there. The setting, the setup is there, right? So that code, that part is what the bill layer, right? So one simple example, like let us say that whenever you log in here, after putting the username password, then suppose 10 peoples or 100 peoples are coming here and they are putting the username password. So what will happen? The server has to decide, right, what to show to whom, right? So after verifying the credential, your balances and your detail will be shown to you only. His the balance, his details will be shown to him. Right? So all these controls, right? All these control. So every user will get his own dashboard, right? Getting the his amount, his beneficiary, all will be different. Mine will be different. Your will be different, right? So same way, suppose Facebook. If you go to the Facebook page, a very simple example. It looks very simple, right? This is the Facebook page. Once we enter this, the things changes after entering. I'll be getting my own dashboard, friend list, post, and all those things. You'll be getting your own. So this logical thing. Like, you'll be getting your friend list data listed there, your post. I'll be getting mine. So same here. I'll be getting my statements, my beneficiary, and all those things, right? So this is right. This control, this stuff. That is what logical thing. Then many other stuff like suppose the whole logic, the whole logic or whole business logic of that application. See this website, that front end part, you see it's look very simple, but when we go inside and then many things are there. Suppose you are adding a beneficiary, you'll click on add and you'll do that. Then it asks that okay, you have to wait for 30 minutes, right? And then it will send an OTP approval. So that is what functionality is, right? The many things are there, right? Checks are there that before 30 minutes you cannot do anything. Okay, like that. So you see this all thing that is going inside the application, which is related, which is logical, right? Business related, which is complex. That is what BLL layer. And then last one is DML layer, database layer. So database layer is the final layer where whole data is stored because everything is data. Everything, your photo, your face post, Twitter, uh, if it is banking application, all of the transaction details, beneficiary details, everything is data. So somewhere it is stored, right? So that is stored in the DB layer. DB layer is there. It should be there for every application because the data somewhere they have to put. So that is what DML layer, data application layer, and the developer who deals with the writing the DB queries and these all things are called DB developers, DB administrator, right? Now this word has changed. They have, the word is like data analyst. Data analyst or something is there related to data. Okay, now DB stuff has gone. Will not be seeing anywhere. Earlier it used to happen DB administrator, DB dev, but now it's data analyst or something is there. Okay, data. So wherever data is all related to DB thing, and so the database technologies which are available, MySQL, SQL Server, MongoDB, okay, PostGRS, Oracle, very famous. These all uh, the application using which we design the TP. Right? And this setup, uh, the server on which this setup is kept, these are called DB servers. They will be called as DB servers. Okay. So you see, there are total different setups, and that's why it's called three tier. Right? In earlier tier, the first tier, which I just discussed, all this used to happen on same machine. But now this is they are segregated. They are kept on different machines. Why they are kept on different machine? We'll see on next. So this is a multi-tier architecture, which is extended version of three-tier architecture. So yeah, nothing is there. Only thing you see here that the server has increased. Right, you see that server that the data. So I told you right. The web servers are there, the app servers are there, the database servers are. Acha, before that, one thing I forgot to tell you. See, this is a mechanism. Like this will be at first, this will be at middle, and this will be in the last. This is like it's not like that. Means their building mechanism is like that because this is the front end, right? Whatever we see the things through the front end only. So let us say front end is the website, the URL that is. So suppose, or you can say the presented part. That's why it's called presentation. So one simple example. Let us say you went to the ICIC, we are there and we are putting the username and password. So this is the layer through which we are interacting. Our user interacts. Okay, this through this layer. So the tab is there, right? You just need to put the username password. Once you put the username password, request comes here. The request with carrying the request and password. Sorry, username and password comes here. Then what this layer will do? Layer will fetch the password and the username from the DB, the existing one. It will try to match, right? So it will fetch. So you see, this thing does a logical stuff, right? So let us say, suppose that matches that whatever with you will check whether that user is there or not DB. Okay, that user is there, fine. Then he will try to check the password whether password that fellow is entered is matching with which is stored already or not. So if it matches, then it will uh, it, then that request is successful, right? And then it will fetch all the details. Let us say, suppose you are on Facebook page or banking page. So all your related stuffs, right? Or suppose you are entering in Gmail, so all your related emails or Facebook, so all your related posts, friend lists, right? Or if you are on ICS, any banking app, all your related details, money details, all transaction details, everything that dashboard information, it will all fetch from DB only, and then it will display it through this layer. So everything is interacted with this layer, right? So that is what we see the response. Right? So this is how things work. Suppose let us say um, when the input came, request came, and username was there, and but password didn't match. So it will throw error. Hey, your password is not matching. Try to enter. So like this, right? So this is what simple way the things works. So anything works like that. Okay. So you see now coming to here. So you see here, the web server. Now you got the idea what is the meaning of web server, right? The presentation layer, the app servers, the logical layer, the DB server, the DML layer, or it's also called a persistence layer. Now, in multi-tier architecture, what happens? There are stacks. Means there is not one website, there are multiple. Same way apps, depending on the requirement, they will be there as many. Okay. Now that is what multi-tier. So why there the concept of as see everything in this world has a capacity, a limited capacity, right? Everything, nothing is there in this world which doesn't have a which is very powerful, which is powerful than God. It's not. So even we have a capacity. Suppose you can pick 30 kg weight max. Someone can pick 40 kg. The capacity, right? That is called capacity. Everything has a limited capacity. If you exceed beyond that, uh, crash will happen, right? Even a human who has a capacity of picking 30 to 35 kg of weight, he try to put pick 40 or 45, he will crash, right? He will fall down. So like that. Okay? So everything has a capacity, anything you see in this world. The same with servers also has a capacity, that machines, right? Even if you have deployed everything latest CPU, latest memory on all those things, but that will have a capacity. So suppose a server with all latest one web server can handle 5,000 user load, right? Let us say one. Now, but now our requirement is like just 1 lakh or 10 lakh, right? Or let us say understand in a very simple, not will not go in that much big, right? But Amazon's, Flipkart, they are serving like that one, right? Amazon, they are serving 5 lakh, 10 lakh requests per hour. You see? So suppose need is that 20,000 requests should be processed, right? Like that. But one server has a capacity of 5K, right? If more load goes than that, right? So it means that 5,000 requests is coming. So one server can handle them. It can send the response back to them, right? Okay. So it's handling. But what if suppose 1K extra load came? That time, since it's already busy with its whole capacity, this extra request will go in wait, right? Wait, and that is how we see the response times increasing, right? Because the request is queued up. Plus, if they do this thing, means one activity, if you keep on think like a human only, right? If you are running and you are just keeping on running, and you do not relax, you will fall down, right? Like that. So beyond capacity. The same with servers, right? If they are just doing their work, serving requests, and if their capacity is always reaching up, so what will happen? They will crash. That is where we see those server errors, 500 to 5.3, like this. So this is there. This is the very simple concept. So that's why we increase the servers, so that further loads can be assigned to other server, right? So let us say each server can handle 5K, and I want to have 20K stuff. So I will, how much server I'll deploy? I'll deploy 4 server at least, servers like this, and then some extended also, extended servers will also be there, right? So same goes for here also here. So that is why multi-tier tier is increased, but tier, the layer remains same. The layer remains. In real-time architecture, there are many things will be there. This is the simple version. Here you see load balancer there. The work of load balancer is to balance the load. Now, what is the meaning of balancing load? Like I just said, suppose here 3 servers are deployed, and let us say requests are coming, right? So many are coming. So it checks which is free. Let us say this is busy with its all 5K. So this is busy with 5K or 4K. So it has still a capacity of handling 1K, right? So other request it will forward to this, right? There, balancing the load it does. It's there everywhere. Then many other thing will be there. Firewall will be there, proxy will be there to protect the architecture. So the same thing I have just displayed in the PPT, but just discuss. See here, this is how things works. Then we have a client application and thin client and thick client. Thick client, thin client are also kind of interrelated stuff. So any web applications are called thin client application. So any web means browser based. Those applications which we access through browser are called browser based application, and they are thin client application. Thin client application has a proper 3-tier architecture or multi-tier architecture. There is very minor difference we have to understand. We can, right? Okay, so all proper 3-tier architecture that we have discussed is followed. the presentation layer, right, is on client facing or user facing, and we need a third party interface like browser to access them. Correct. But remember, nothing is installed on the machine. Nothing is installed. What it means is you need only a browser, right? And then you put any application URL and you are able to access. But application thing, nothing is installed in your laptop, right? At the user side. And this BML, DML are backend. Obviously, they will be always in backend. Now we have FAT client or the client. So all the mobile apps, right, which I talked just now, two-tier architecture example, right? Desktop apps are nowadays they are getting away, right? But yeah, desktop apps are there. So example of desktop apps like train ticket, clerk booking app, bank employee, restaurant order accepting apps, they are there. So I think this is still there. If you just go to any not to the these agents. Okay, the agents are using IRCTC. We use IRCTC for booking, right? But if you go to the main railway station and then there you book, right, a ticket, you'll observe you might have, many of might have seen this also, especially in India, right? So they are not using IRCTC. Okay, to book. They have their own system, and that will look like some dark screen that is DOS based, old kind of thing, and in that they will book, and that will be more faster also. So those apps are desktop kind of. Web app is what IRCTC version that we see. At the end of the both is booking the ticket only, but his is different, right? The for normal user is different. Same is there for bank employees and other thing. The website that we see, of, let us say IRCTC money, that is for normal user. But for bank employee, it is totally different. So if you get any chance to visit any bank, right, and try to interact with any of the people who is there, just try to see what, uh, especially the people who is in the admin place. Admin, admin is the branch manager, the cashier. Those are called admins, not the people who are sitting on the front ticket. They are sitting for different purpose. The people who deal with the account, like suppose you have delete, you will put it. I want to delete my account. Hmm. So somewhere they will be doing, right, like that. Many things. Many time, suppose you might have observed your account is blocked or your account something has happened, right? So they ask you to come to branch to get that activated something, right? So who control that, right? Somewhere that control is there. So that software is totally different, which we do not see. So like that. Now Tickline and all our mobile apps, let it be Android, iOS, are all example of right client. How that is different, I'll tell you. So thick client application follow two-tier architecture. In this, the first tier, which is a combination of PL or PL layer, is treated as one layer, which is called as client layer, and they are installed. Remember, this is not installed, but this is installed, and there is no involvement of any third-party tool. Here, involvement is there is no involvement of any third-party tool to access those applications. Directly, will be interacting with the application, and the DB is centralized. Database anyhow is always centralized. Centralized means it's a common kept at secret, separate, safe location. So we'll see here. This is the difference between two-tier and three-tier. So take an example of to understand this. We'll take an example of mobile app only. So suppose ICS. So we have ICS mobile app. Yes, mobile app. Mobile. Let it be for Android or this is mobile. Android, iOS. We have, and this is web version of ICS, which which you can open. Just now I have opened, right? Open through the browser and we interact. Right? So when we that follows a proper three-tier. We see the presentation layer and all the app layer, DB layer are there in backend side. Right? We just interact through the presentation. Right? So it follows proper 3 tier. But same thing, there is a mobile version. But mobile version is different. You go to App Store, right, and you are downloading a file, APK file, right, which can be 50, 60 MB in size or more than that also, I think, right? And that you are downloading from App Store, and then you are installing that in your device. And first time you are making a registration, obviously. Once the registration is complete, then you do not need anything, right? You have to just go and put your finger, and you are inside your app. So you see the difference, right? That is the difference. So what happens, and what happens is here you see the presentation layer part through which we interact. We have to use a browser and then we see the thing. But here those are installed in our mobile. All menu item, see, all menu item which are here is available in mobile version. But here we have to access through browser. But here that whole software kind of thing is installed, right? All menu item, if you go and see, what only what will change, your data will change, because here when you click, whole page will keep on changing, right? But here page doesn't change, na? There's nothing called page. All menu is there on your device only. It's a user side. Okay. Here everything is coming from server side. Suppose you are on uh, home page, then you'll go to beneficiary page or a statement page. Whole thing will keep on changing, right? But here it doesn't change. All menus are there, right? You have to just click, and only the display, the data changes. But the data is centralized, TV center. So user accessing his account through mobile or web, database will be same, right? Because database has to be same. If you were do a transfer of 10,000 from here to web, it will show in mobile. Or if you do anything in mobile, it will show in web, right? So how? Because the database remains same. So everything at the end of his database, any record you do change, it's going to be saved in database. But the other part that you see, even let us say you have added a beneficiary and all those things, and you are getting a message, you are getting inside that app only. It will be very quick, right? Any error message and all those. So that may most of the functionality are installed towards the user. Here that is not there, right? So that is what the two difference between 2 tier and 3 tier. So one more. So coming to understand the technical thing here, every time we do anything rendering of pages and anything you see, so it will be little bit slow compared to the mobile apps, because there nothing such kind of thing happen. So all those stuff are already on the user side. They are installed. Okay. Only just data changes. Any icon anywhere. Suppose you are on main page, then you may click on a statement page. It will take some time to bring the statement, because the latest statement from DB. Other thing is not going to change, right? Other icon menu that you see. So that is already there. So this is in sorts kind of thing. How a real article. You see multiple layers are there. Database are centralized. A business layers, servers are separate. In that also two separate parts are there. This is for web user, which is going as more secure. So your firewalls are there, web server, and the user who access through web, they will be accessing through this request going in here, getting processed, and then response coming. This is especially for mobile users, right? Or you can say internal users. So internal user, they skip this part. Why? Because it's authenticated. If you are, what is the difference between this? Suppose this is a web version. This is the mobile version. I understand. So once you install the app, and then first time you do the registration, right? That one-time activity. Then after that you are authorized, right? It's not. It's kind of secure. Just put a pin or a finger. Put the finger. You are inside your app. and most of the things is installed on the user side. Correct. So they just interact with the DB part. Correct. So for them, this becomes short. This path becomes short. For web people, it's more little complex. Firewalls are there. Firewall does help in protecting the application from getting hacked and other thing, right? So you'll be mostly will be hearing that web application are hacked. Do you see a mobile application getting hacked? Very rare. You might be getting news, but all web application they can get hacked, right? That often comes in news, right? Like, so this is one example. So in why we are discussing this, so that we should have idea when you are doing performance testing. So you should have idea what your application is made of, which technology used, what is web server made of, app server, which DB server is used, where it is hosted, right? How many web servers are there currently, many app servers are there, how many DB servers are there. Because that is where suppose they have given you one application to test which is on web server of two, only two web servers are there, and you are putting a load of 5,000 suppose or 10,000, and you are seeing the problem. So that is where limitation is coming, right? So we have to know this. So that is there. Now on which platform it is there. So as I told you, now everything is on cloud. Right? No one is on data center. Everything has went on cloud. So suppose this is one example. Blueprint. It's also called a software application blueprint, right? So every application you work has a blueprint. So this is on AWS platform, right? AWS cloud. So here two web servers are there. It's, two web servers. Okay. They are Windows EC2, Windows based web servers. Because see, any in any server, what will be there? What is the meaning of Windows? Any server which will look like this, right? That is the hardware part. Inside that, obviously, the CPU will be there, the memory will be there, right? The hard disk part will be there, and then there will be OS, operating system. The operating system is what this Windows EC2 or Ubuntu, Linux, right? Linux EC2. Any of these two will be there. Correct. Then inside that, our application will be there. That also some application servers are also there. Application server, which the application components are stored. So application server like Tomcat, right? HTTP server like this, you might have heard of or you'll be hearing, right? So they are called application server, which is there, right? Outside. So this is like, right? Then here API server or app server, it's on Linux, right? And then we have here DBs. Right? Then you see a load balancer there, elastic load balancer here also. Just okay. So this is a load balancer, right? So this is the web part. This is web part. So user accessing this web is coming through proper internet, right? And then here gateway or what, firewall and all things are there, right? Then it's coming here, load is getting segregated. Then from there, the response, then again that request will be coming in. That will be processed with the help of DBs, right? And the output goes back like this. And for mobile, this is mobile. So as I said, for mobile, they directly interact with processing only, because this part is already in them, right? So they skip this and the DV. So that is separate. Many other things will also be there in the architecture. You see some primary DBs are there, secondary DBs are there. This is for catching. Catching ready server. Catching means what? Like the Flipkart. I was the example I told you that you added 4 products and then you close the Flipkart. So cookies is saved, but that 4 products is cached in the server end. Even if you are not logged in, right? And you have added 4 products and you have closed the browser and everything. Again, next time when you are opening Flipkart, you are sending that request. With that request, you are sending that cookie value through PL layer is the simple layer. Here nothing happens. Only we interact with. But when in that everything happen in apps, so that request goes here and that cookie come here. The server recognize here that user has added 4 products. So that all information will be cached, right? That is cache. We have understood cache, right? Caching is there in browser also. Caching stuff is there on the server side also, right? So from there it will bring that and it will display you back. Right? And you see again Flipkart page getting displayed to you, having those 4 products added, right? Like that. So many things are there. This is one example of Windows based. It's on Azure VM. Like how we have Amazon, right? AWS. This is Microsoft Azure. The UI layer, the API layer, and DB layer. Server are Windows 2012, the OS. This is made of technology AngularJS. Okay. This is also on .NET, AngularJS and .NET for this, .NET for API, and then we have DB with SQL Server. So this is one example of those best apps, .NET app. So like that. So you should be aware of which technology used here, how servers are there, where it is displayed, all this. So this is what. So we have finalized this concept. Now you understand the whole things. Okay. User will be doing this thing, request goes and it gets processed. The application side, this is application where application is there, then OS is there, and then the CPU and the hardware. And then these are embedded resources. This is one business scenario. One business scenario can be any scenario, right? And there are multiple transactions to complete a business scenario. Then, right, and whenever a user is there on an application, there is a concept of user session also, right? Like previous cookie information till it's there, you are always in hold. When you delete the cookies, you are always treated as new user, right? So one user session like the thing. So we have completed this.
So sir, where the API means the requests are part of which layer? It's a presentation layer, the request that we are sending from the browser.
The API happens, as you told, they are business to business. Like inside an application only, some component of one module will be connecting with some other component. That okay. So that is what API. It's a you can say it's a application part. Application.
Application layer.
Yes.
Okay, so if we are telling like we are sending 500 users to the application layer, and we have a 2 3 application layers, 2 3 application servers. So in JMeter we have a option like which application server need to hit. Like you mentioned, it in one server is 500K and another is 400K. We have to divert it. So in JMeter, we can do that. We have that option, or we can hit only one server at a time.
No, JMeter, how it will diverting. Load balancer will be diverting. So
Ah, okay, okay. Load balancer will do. Okay, okay.
this is all on application side. Okay? Then this you do not get to interact with that, or no tool has not anything to do with this part.
So, sir, 500 user will go to the web server or app server?
It all depends that where that request is designed for.
Okay.
If you are properly following the UI's request, so first it will interact with the web server. When we do a proper API testing, then they interact with apps directly.
Okay, sir.
Can you please open that 72 number slides once? Yeah, this one. Nice definition. Thank you.
Okay, so any doubt in all of this? All clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Your your doubt got clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See, there is one basic difference in UI performance testing and API performance testing. People call API, JMeter hits API. No, it's not like that. JMeter can do the UI part also, right? As shown. So it's all how people understand that, how you design. So when you hit the request properly and you retrieve also embedded resources, you get T1, T2, you are getting right. Suppose you are not retrieving the embedded resources, you are only focusing on the server side, which in most cases that is done. And that is what T1, T1. So that is yeah, that can also be done, correct? And generally that is only done, the embedded part. And then the last part T3, which comes the processing. So processing again, since we cannot see, it's kind of thing. Okay, downloading you can see, right? All those of embedded resources. The processing you can see, right? So processing, there is no such tool which has except one tool, which has that kind of capability to do that. So then inbuilt, because processing happens in browser, right? So it depends. That is what it deciding the browser capability. So we have this. This is tested for multiple users. And the processing thing, the T3 I'm talking about. Okay. Like Mozilla Firefox will be having different, Google Chrome will be having different, Safari will be having different. So this, so that's why we use inbuilt tool. You can use the Lighthouse part, because yesterday I have shown you, right? I was using Lighthouse, and Lighthouse was doing what? It was repeating the same thing and trying to load the page, and then it was interacting, right? Go and see this Lighthouse. If you click on analyze, see, I'm just clicking on analyze. So Lighthouse will reload this thing on right hand side. Left hand side, you see it's reloading, and then whole it's analyzed. So that's what. So, and the result that you see here, it only gives information about not about the server thing, that not more on the downloading of them, but will give you more information about the processing part. Okay, this took that much time, this took that much time, this JavaScript part have more optimized, right? Like that. So that is now see, when we call API works application to application. So sometime what will happen? Yeah. So sometime what will happen? In your application only, there can be multiple modules. Like let us say, suppose one very simple example. Right? Suppose payment gateway. You are on a page making a payment, and then it asks you to you can make a payment from any thing. Suppose ICICI Bank, you can use Phone Pay app. You can. So when they are redirecting it after that, suppose you are choosing Phone Pay option, right? UPI. So you will go to Phone Pay. So for a time being, you are going to some other app, right? So when app is interacting with app, correct? Inside one. We directly went to Phone Pay? No. The app went to Phone Pay. Understand? So that is the API actually in real sense. The API testing works at the business to business. Right? So that basic difference we have to understand. Testing on.
So, sir, all the requests that are you are showing in the Amazon, ICICI Bank, that are not APIs? That are APIs, right?
Right. So like that. So sometime in your application only. Uh, Uh, so, right. So, in many time in your application only, you'll see that some part of your application connects with some other part of another application. So, there API. Now, whenever there will be API, okay, that is just an independent request. Most of time it is just one request. That time there is nothing called embedded resources and all those things because those are part of web service. So, from UI part, whenever we consider all those things. Plus, whenever you will be doing from UI part, you will see many things like one transaction can have one request or multiple requests also. That is what UI part. Suppose there is a login and login has 5 requests you are observing. Correct. So in total, login took how much? It's the sum of all total 5 requests, right? Correct. So login took 5 seconds. So what is the meaning of that? That in login 5 requests are there and maybe some some of them is taking more time, or let us say login took 10 seconds. So it's a combination of all this, right? When it is API are not transactional based because API are on business to business, right? In inside. Okay, so an API calls are generally they will be just one calls because they are just made from business to business. So this is what we have to understand.
So, sir, when
At
you
the end of
open
the
the
day,
account or a login website, if we the when the user is login, like with username and password, when we're doing the with post method, that is not a API. That is a request
that
we are
is
sending.
the Postman collection that you see, they are APIs, but they will be very different from the UIs. UI. In Postman, you will see for one action there will be one call, right? Like a
Yes.
delete or so that's what I do. Only they will be only one call. But same thing when you try to do in UI, you will see multiple calls will be made. You can verify that also. So that is the difference.
But that also we call as APIs.
These requests are also people calling API only.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it because it's a request. So everything is request, right? Those are also request. This is also request. So they have you everyone is now calling them as a API only. So take it everything is API. Only thing implementation. That is proper API you are doing where you are hitting just a call. So those call only interact with within application to application. But from UI perspective, if you will be doing that, then you have to consider the calls which is happening from user perspective. So that time you have to check in browser and check. So you may see that there will be many transactions for APIs needed is just one call. But when you do the same thing in browser, there can be 3 to 4 calls being made. Okay, they goes to many different uh, like architecture only, right? To fetch many things, to do many stuff, and whole thing is loading your page, right? So that is the difference. Whether you want to do from you got the point. Now this is UI, this is API. In UI only extended parts are the embedded resources are there, the processings are there. Okay, so the main difference. But if you ignore that in UI also, when we consider all the calls related to that page, UI. But in API, only that important one they will consider. There is one request.
Like the payment gateway that you have.
Something like that.
Mhm. So then we should not call it as API. We should call it the request, the over UI, all the different requests, like a multiple request we are sending it. Okay.
API we can call. See, all this is request only, right? So term has came up API. Forget about that API. You'll not make whole world understand that they are that like that. They have only come up with this. We have to understand how the testing is going on. It is UI based or API based. API will only interact at business to business level, and they will be just one request. Okay, for doing this. When we talk from UI level, so that time we think when we think from API level, that is not from user perspective. We focus on call. Okay, this is that post call, this is that get call to do all those things like that you will receive in Postman. But when you do from UI perspective, so that time you make transactions. Transaction is there. Then each transaction have request. Right? There is a proper flow. This kind of flow will be there. Here's no such flow will be there. You can test anyone, any API in random also, right? Nothing will happen. But here, a complete when you are preparing UI test plan, it's complete flow. Dependencies are there. Suppose you are searching here, that search item will go here, right? That search item will be added to cart also. That will be checked out also. So that is the thing, right? When it is called API, which is they call at API, so that is single call. You can test one call, you can test 2 calls. They are independent also. What we have to do is already payload will be there. Just we have to put our payload and send. Like this kind of thing will not be there. Nothing like UI thing from user UI what user thing. There will be no transaction stuff. All those things.
Okay, for the transaction like a home page transaction, result, viewed item transaction, that is the one transaction.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So now we'll go in JMeter to do all this thing. So in JMeter, there is terminology. See, there is terminology called thread, right? So thread means user or virtual user, because the performance testing tools are going to generate the users only. So users are called virtual users, right, in technical term, and especially in JMeter, they are called threads. So wherever you read thread means user, okay, or virtual user. There will be term called sampler in JMeter, sample or sampler. So sampler means a request. It will act as a request. And you will see subsamplers also there. So subsampler means the non-HTML requests, okay, or the other, yeah, actually subsample means the sub part of sample only. So basically it's a non-HTML request resources. And then we have thread group. This is thread. This is thread group. So thread group will act as a business scenario. So all the transaction related to one business scenario that you'll be working on, that will be kept inside thread group. So everything starts with the thread group only. You have to use thread group and you have to keep anything inside that, right? When we have multiple thread groups, that is a test suite. So this will be there, right? Then okay, so we'll start this. So next day. We are 8 people. Beginning, so many people are there. So what happened? It was not interesting, or what? Like so many people left.